The last time you saw my Ferrari, I'd stripped the bonnet from the car along with the bumper and run them round to the paint shop. I also had an immobilizer issue preventing the car from starting, so it's fair to say the car was a long way from being done. However, I wanted to use this car for my sister's wedding and time was running out. I had a week and a half, so the question was simple. Can I get the Ferrari ready in time? Okay, so welcome back to the past, and here we go. We're back, been away for a week, and here they are. We've got beautifully sprayed bonnet, beautifully sprayed bumper. In the meantime, I've been doing some panel gapping as well, and I've moved that crash bar along a little bit. So we're now ready to get going. We're putting this together, and the main bit I think today is really going to be this bumper, because we've got to fit the grille, we've got to move the prancing horse from this old one onto the new one. We've got a sort of washer jet cap that I need to spray quickly. I've got a can for that. And then we've got this to fit onto the bumper as well. So quite a bit to do. Then we've got to do all the parking sensors, get those lined up as well. And only once all that's done, can we then put it all onto the car. So yeah, that's going to take a bit of time, but then obviously the bonnet shouldn't take too long. Probably the longest bit will just be trying to get the line up right. But yeah, quite a bit to do, so let's jump into it. The bumper grille is held in place at the top with some brackets that are riveted on. As such, I'm drilling out all the old rivets as the brackets can be reused. One was a bit bent, but I was able to straighten this out with some pliers. With that done, it's just a case of attaching the grille to the bumper. It's screwed onto the bottom, and to make sure I got the line up right at the top, I loosely bolted the brackets onto the bumper before riveting the brackets to the grille. So grille is in and looking nice. I've also put the washer jets in, and obviously we've got one cap drying over there, but they actually get fit once the bumper's on, or from this side anyway. But if you recall from last episode, there's these broken wires. I only saw one, but unwrapping it, there's actually a whole bunch. There's 3 orange wires and only 2 here, which was a bit strange, but these 2 are sort of wired together. So I'm guessing they're just 2 of these will connect to one of those, and then 1 and 1. Then yeah, we got a few more wires to take care of as well. But yeah, just as well as spot that, because yeah, that could have been a bit of a nightmare once the car was together. And there we go, that's the end result. All wires crimped up. When I say end result, I'm just gonna put some glue in the ends of each bit, just to act as an insulator. Gonna then let that dry, get the screws for these bits, get the bonnet on, and then by then, this should have dried and be ready to tape up, and this should then be ready to go on the car, so let's go. And I think getting this bumper ready is the sort of long bit of the process, to be honest. It's just, like I say, doing all the rivets, everything just needs to be right before it goes on the car. So we're doing the longer bit now, so I'm okay with the progress we're making. Yeah, let's keep going. After spraying the bumper grills in satin black to help them pop just that little bit, it's then time to fit the bonnet. This wasn't my smoothest attempt, and it took me ages because I was trying to make sure not to scratch the wings or the newly sprayed bonnet. Okay, well, I've just been messing around with the alignment quite a bit, just trying to get everything set up, and it's still not there, but it's going to have to do for now. As you can see, we're very tight down here, but yeah, it sort of gets a bit wider there, and you think it can go over. But on this side, it's sort of the one I did first. So you can see that's a much better sort of line all the way through. So I've got to adjust this at some point, but no time today. So on to the next bit. I think get the bumper on next, I think. Because we can do all the trim later. This has to go tomorrow. So yeah, sort of just skipping some tasks as I go. I just want to make sure that this is ready to go on the trailer tomorrow. And obviously you just need it to look proper and whole. So yeah, we'll get onto that now. But yeah, all the trim like up there, it's not essential if it's not on today. Yeah, let's go.
Adding the final touches to the bumper just involve fitting the sensors and our now dried satin black grills.
Okay, well, this is now basically ready to go on the car. Now, I will be honest, I haven't plumbed up the washer jets for the headlights yet because, well, they're just not essential like an MOT without them. And I want to work, one of these was broken, I think it was this one. Just want to do a slightly better plastic weld before attaching it, otherwise it'll just break off. But everything else is there. Only thing I need to put on is the washer jet caps. Got another one here, but that I've just lacquered, so I'm just letting it dry a bit first. But yeah, ready to go on the car.
To attach the bumper, there's supposed to be 5 screws on the top, but there's only 3 available spots on this crash bar, so I'll have to have another 2 riv nuts made in due course. There's also 3 bolts on either side, and to finish it off, it's secured underneath to the under trays, which I'll have to do at the end of the build.
Okay, so a couple of things. We're missing a bolt each side, which is why there's the gap here, and also here, just because that will pull them together. So you can see it's tighter down the end because there's a bolt there and a bolt there already in. Just need to get bolts for that. And here, but the main thing is this piece here. It is sticking out loads. Whereas when I come to the other side, it's a lot more tight. In terms of everything else though, I mean, God, it's so nice having the badge on and everything, having it in white. I mean, holy hell. More gapping needed, obviously. But yeah, that's so cool to see it like this. Honestly, it almost felt like I was never going to see the day when it was white like this. Yeah, it looks terrific, to be honest. I'm really happy with it. But yeah, we got that issue on that bumper over here that we need to fix. But I'm going to think about what to do with that once it's with the auto electrician. So time to just get the rest of the bonnet done. Got to put the latches on. I'm not going to bother with the trim now. That'll be another time. But yeah, start getting it ready and get the wheels on and see if we can get it on the trailer. So yeah. Because I think it's important to remember that this is only my second Cat S rebuild, the other one being the DB11. And there's a noticeable improvement. I mean, the DB11 craftsmanship was not fantastic, if I'm honest. This is definitely a lot better. It's still not perfect, but I'm definitely going in the right direction. And I'm just getting more familiar with how all this sort of stuff works. I'm learning so many new things. And yeah, it's getting so much closer now. I just need to get it on that trailer. And then we can take it down to the auto electrician. Hopefully by the end of the week, they'll have fixed the issue and we'll have a driving Ferrari. And then I just need to get it ready for the MOT. Fingers crossed. Well, Ferrari is on the trailer, but that was not an easy job. I didn't film that because I know it would trigger a lot of people and I'm a bit against the time. But as you can see, we had dollies involved, we had planks of wood just to try and get it over that lip over here. And then obviously the dollies, I realized pretty quickly, if they wouldn't go over that lip, then they wouldn't go up the ramp. So may have used this thing to get it on the trailer, but I was careful with it. I did put a card in between, etc. So I'm not going to damage any pipes or anything underneath. But anyway, she's on there. She's ready to go. Obviously, clamp it down in the morning, ratchet strap it down. So, and take it to them, and hopefully they can help me out. There's clearly some big electric failure sort of going on at the minute because it won't even let me close the roof because it either can't detect the speed or it cannot detect the outside temperature, which both might just need to be with the engine on. I'm not too sure. But either way, we're gonna have to get this recovered to the guys with the roof off. Yeah, so a few electrical gremlins to sort out, but I'm off home in the morning, gonna run this down and then gonna jump on that Mustang. So yeah, see you soon. And so that was now over a week ago when you saw the car on the trailer. Subsequently, it's been down to Sussex to an auto locksmith. They've cut a second key for us. They also tried to have a look at what was causing this monumental issue. They suspected it might have been a bad ECU, but they thought to get another opinion because it's a new ECU is about £2,800, something like that. Then you need to fit it, get it coded and programmed. So hopefully it wasn't going to be that, but they weren't completely sure. It's not really their area of expertise. So they suggested I actually take it to a specialist and have a look. So then picked up the car from Sussex, took it to Berkshire, to DTC Scuderia, and Scott was able to help me there. He ended up actually plugging it into Diagnostics, and he could see a whole list of issues there that were on the C-CAN network. So we basically have a network failure on the CAN bus, and more specifically the C-CAN. Now, he said to me, normally this is probably due to a broken wire, and instantly this got me thinking. He said, especially considering the history of the car. So I actually got looking around where I was working. I first checked the grounds, made sure they're okay. I couldn't remember if I tightened them completely tight, but they're absolutely fine. But I will show you this. When I was looking at the wiring, what did I find? And that was this frayed wire up here and exposed, as you can see there. And now the issue with that is frayed wires are going to increase the resistance and affect the voltage going through massively, and that can even cause shorts or just real issues with the voltage in general. And Ferraris are so specific about what voltage needs to be running through it, otherwise it'll just throw a bit of a hissy fit. That's why it has so many issues related to batteries, because it's all voltage related. And while looking on diagrams of where this wire comes from, it actually starts over there, comes along the engine bay, down here, and it feeds all the things that are actually failing at the minute. The window is failing, the driver airbag up there, it's actually on the same network, believe it or not. Headlight failed, ABS failed, wheel speed sensor, it won't let me put the roof on because it can't detect the speed. Again, wheel speed sensor's in here somewhere. So it's all kind of pointing towards one thing. Again, tire pressure monitoring system, also a failure. So that's why I sort of looked here first, because it all kind of made sense that it was on one network. So I'm pretty sure, because I'm guessing red and yellow is like one of the live wires that's feeding the voltage. It's not a return wire, I imagine, with that red color. So I've ordered proper shrimping connectors that you can heat shrink and do a proper sort of repair there, as well as some wire cutters, waiting for them to arrive. Gonna get them fit. We'll get the wire repaired, get it all insulated again, and then hopefully we can get life back in this Ferrari again, get us started. And if we can, well, we should be able to get it MOT this week. And yeah, just start building the car up for the final time.
Whilst waiting for the heat shrink crimps to arrive, I decided to give the car a bit of a clean, and this revealed a couple more issues.
It's interesting going around the car, giving it a bit of a clean, because I'm noticing all these sort of scuffs now, which were hidden by dirt initially. This colour doesn't want to seem to come out, but I'm sure that'll polish out. But again, more scuffs along here, which I don't know what that could have been really. And then if I keep coming around, there's a crack down here, and then a crack along here, which obviously I've not touched any of this, but needs sorting. A little one down here. I don't know if you can see that. And then there was another, I think it was down here somewhere. Yep, you got this crack as well. It's like the bodywork's just falling apart a little bit. So obviously those will get sorted before I sell it, but yeah, it's going to be an afterthought for now. We're just going to get this car back on the road.
Part of the cleaning process was the trims that sit inside the engine bay, as well as the grills for the bonnet vents. I'll give the engine bay a proper clean out though down the line. I also gave the heat shield a bit of a clean with a very slightly wet cloth. The old glue seems to have come away on both these sections, so I'm just running a fresh bit of glue on the inside and securing it into place with some grips whilst it dries in place. Whilst I let that dry, I can replumb the washer jets back into the bonnet as well as fit the heat shield and grills.
Alright, job done. That's that section done. And whilst I was doing that, our heat shrink connectors arrived, as did our wire cutters, so we can get onto this bit now. Oh, point of no return.
And 10 minutes later, it was reconnected, but admittedly, I wasn't too confident in my work.
Alright, showtime. Yeah, like I say, not confident, but might as well give it a go. Alright, door closed. Let's go. Where is it? There it is. Come on. Come on.
And still the issue remained. At this point, I watched back through my old footage of what the car looked like when it was last running, and I noticed the headlights weren't connected last time. It seemed a long shot, but you just never know with Italian electronics.
Well, I've disconnected the headlight, and I think there's no immobiliser warning anymore. So, I think let's let it start. Wow! It's running very rough, but more issues to do with the headlight. It runs! Also, if you can hear, it sounds a little rough, but there you go, it's calmed down now. Show you what I did. So I disconnected the headlight down there, so that's not connected, and now it will let it start, which is really, really strange. So maybe I plugged that in wrong, but anyway, for now, she's up and running. Come on! Might actually just get this ready in time for the wedding, because I've actually got it running now. You just need to understand why that headlight was not letting it run. Now I know it probably seems like a bit of an odd thing to try disconnect that, but I've been watching the footage back from the last time I had it running, and I've been trying to eliminate electrically the differences. So this wasn't actually connected last time I started the car, so I thought, you know what, if I just try and work back, it might work. And sure enough, we unplugged this and it fired right up. So maybe it's something to do with the way I've got it connected, but I'm gonna take it out of its slot now, and then just gonna try and replug it in. Maybe that was wrong. It was awkward to get out, so probably, and just see if we can get that to turn on. So I've just plugged it in loosely, and now I'm just gonna see if I can turn the light on. Let's see. So, don't know if that'll work without it on. No, sorry, I gotta have the key in. We'll use the one that we've already got. Okay, let's see. Looks more promising. Aha! We got the second light on. Come on. Come on, yes. This is excellent. I'm absolutely so stoked about this right now. So, big test. Will it let it start? Let's chill that fan out a sec. Oh well, we've got hardly any warnings now, so we're looking pretty good.
And so things were looking up, literally, as even our roof would now close.
We've even got the roof working. Holy hell, that's cool. Nice, let's go check that out. Almost put it in gear. Aha! Look at that. This car is definitely looking a lot better. Oh, that's great. For some reason I can't get this window to go up. I think, again, I've probably plugged it in wrong. But we're gradually getting there now. It's basically that airbag, and it keeps coming up with TPMS, tyre pressure monitoring system. I'm guessing that's because we just don't have them on. So it's getting a failure because it's not able to read. But yeah, other than that, we're pretty much there now. So this is quite exciting. There is a fault with the air temperature sensor. So I just need to find out where that is, and then we'll get that sorted too. But all in all, look at that. Got the roof back on. One less job. I just can't believe we got this car started today. That's honestly such great news.
At this point, I decided to top up the screen wash, only to soon discover we had quite a bad leak. So off comes the reservoir bottle to investigate further.
Well, as I was trying to take that apart, I noticed this was loose. I've taken it off the connector just so I can demonstrate. I believe that is supposed to sit in like that, and that becomes your low washer bottle sort of sensor, I'm guessing. So yeah, that kind of makes sense, I guess. Didn't have that sensor in, so I need to plug that in this time around, and then we should, in theory, have no leaks, but yeah, jury's still out there.
And on retesting, ignoring the drops from when I missed the neck, we had no leaks from the reservoir.
And voila, a nice full tank that's holding it, and it's not dripping out. So yeah, job done. It was just a sensor on the back had fallen out.
With the headlight now working and our wiring seemingly all sorted, it felt like good progress. But next up was the passenger side window, which wasn't working.
Well, issue I'm having trying to get this door connection on is each time I try and push in with this piece here is disappearing on me. As you can see, it's sort of going back in. Now I can get two of the latches to hold up, but I can't seem to get the one on the far side to pop up using some mole grips. So I've been trying this for like 45 minutes now, so I think I'm just gonna take this door card off and then see if I can push it through from the other side. Definitely not what I was suspecting was gonna be required, but you know, it's important we get all these things done. Obviously the temperature sensor is actually under this mirror, and then obviously, yeah, the window is part of this too. So if we manage to get this plugged up, we should have our temperature sensor should be fine. And then, yeah, we should also be able to move the window up and down, but seemingly just not letting us do it just for now. As you can see here, there it is right down here, so we need to try and push that through as best we can. and then hopefully get it to lock in there somehow, which I'm still not too sure about. Need to have a bit of a look. Right, I've just had Simon over to help me with the door. We've got the electrics plugged in, I think, and he's helped me with this gap here, which is looking a lot better. Now just to put this door card on, which is all here, so I got to put this on, and then I've just started stripping out parts of the top here just to do that airbag issue we've got. So plenty to get on with, so let's just jump right into it. Everything plugged in. Just really hope this works. Please! So window's still not working, which means the temperature control sensor won't be working either. And I'm just struggling now. It doesn't look like it's properly on, but it's latched on okay. So I guess it's back off for this again. I'm just going to see if I can hold it from one side whilst I twist it and just hope I can get it. I think it's just a case of twisting it on so the connections touch. That's what I'm hoping. All right, well, I've disconnected on it. I think I can see our issue. If you look at the pin down here, sort of by my nail, it's just sticking inwards compared to all the others. I've got a feeling that's stopping it going in properly. It's just butting up against that each time. So need to, pull that back out, and hopefully everything else kind of looks like it's lined up. It should go in. I've pulled it out of here. I just want to see if I can actually get it to connect. And if I can, then I'll put it through the door properly. But yeah, let's just see how we get on. All right, well, that's connected, and I know so because I just saw the light come on here. So if I figured it out on, please, window, do your job. Yes, come on. Well, we've cracked that. Let's just check on the crack of the mirror. Looks good. Okay, so we now know what we got to do. I think it might have just been the pin, but we'll give it another go now anyway. I might keep that up. Gives me a bit more space to work in. Right, buzzing. Hell yeah, half an hour later, you can see the lights on. We have life. Oh my God, I was nearly at my wit's end there. God, that is in. And now I just need to spin it, which a little bit more. As you can see, this groove, there's a red bit, which you can see down there. That's meant to click in there once this is spun enough. So just need to spin it a bit more. But before I do anything else, let's check that window. Oh, big reach. Oh, come on. Yes. Oh, that is such a relief, honestly. Massive relief. Honestly, I didn't thought that was never going to work. And I thought it was going to be such a daft reason for us to not be able to get this car MOT'd in time. Oh, because I'm pretty sure that temperature sensor not working is causing the engine management light, because on the fault code on the OBD scanner, it was reporting it under the engine management section. So yeah, that should clear that light. And then just put the door card on, but I know it works, so that's good. So I just need to lock it in, make sure it doesn't come undone. And yeah, put it all back together, but I'm just relieved that's worked. Oh God. Oh, let's go. And there we go, all logged in. Finally, time to put this back on for real now. Woo! So back on with the door card, starting with the speakers first. After that, it's the main card itself, and it was whilst I was doing this, I had a thought which is dangerous at the best of times. You know, I've just had a thought. Because the light came on down there, I wonder if this bit that I've just plugged in is also controlling that head airbag. I reckon that's it. I reckon we might even have the airbag light go now as well. Who knows? I'll get it store card on. We'll run it on the diagnostic scanner and see if we can get rid of the code. But who knows? But hopefully. Another task, by the way. You can't find any videos on how to take the door card off in California, but I feel like I'm getting quite used to Ferrari now. I just know there's just going to be clips on clips on clips.
And that's right, the one thing I do like about working on a Ferrari is it is consistent in how to dismantle it. Most bolts or screws are the same size for the area you're working on, and the interior is fixed up mainly by clips. At this point, it seems the door latch isn't actuating properly, and on testing, I couldn't open the door from the inside.
Right, well, what I'm testing is the latch here. It just seems to not have enough slack the way that it seems to fit in most easily. Not great English there, but yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how this connects through to here such that there's a good amount of slack. So when you pull, when you open this bit, it pulls it. At the minute it's not, so just need to figure this out. But other than that, it's all clipped in, basically ready to go, and then there's just a screw inside here, and then obviously the screw goes around the wrong way around. And then yeah, bolt in there. Pretty much job done. Figured it out, basically. Once it's connected in like that, this needs to sit in there and that'll tighten it down. There you go. That is now working, so I can tighten this all down now. All right, quick test. There we go. Woo! Just need to tap in some of these clips, put the handle on, and we're good. And job done. Now I'm going to get it on the diagnostic reader and we'll just see if we've still got that airbag fault before I carry on taking it apart.
So first to be checked is the air temperature sensor fault code.
Yes, come on, woo.
And it's gone. But now for the big one, would the airbag fault also go?
Yes, come on, yes. Oh, what a belter. Well, that's good. So pretty much once I start it, there are some failures, Manatino, etc. But I've got a feeling some of these will clear themselves over time. I need to get fuel low before I start the car. But yeah, no more airbag light. Buzzing. Right, that's all back together up there. And some of you remember I didn't put this bit on earlier, but that is now on and fitted. Just need to do the other side. And then that's the center of the car done. I've put the fuse covers back on both sides. As you can see, that one's back on as well. It's a bit dirty, but yeah, it's on. Just need to fit this down here. And I think that's our interior done, which is pretty cool. And today, going to get the wheel arch liners fit on both sides, get those down, get, well, the bolts on, the bumpers properly on as well. Then hopefully once rush hour's died down, go get some premium Shell fuel, fill the car up a bit. Yeah, we'll be looking all right by that point, I think. So yeah, all in all, it's gone all right, actually. I'm pleasantly surprised myself how much I got done today. So, I mean, I think it's only, what, 5 o'clock now as well, so we got like a few more hours at least tonight. And then, yeah, be looking all right.
With that side piece now in place as well, the interior of the car was done. I've had near enough this whole interior part at some point, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm a bit proud of how it's come out, despite the clashing brown stitching.
Right, I'm sort of skipping through this bit because it's a bit boring. But yeah, wheel arch liner is in on one side. Now to do the other side, and boom, second one done as well. Next job. And yeah, I'm actually going to leave the battery trim off for now, just because I'm going to be charging it in the meantime and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not perfect. There's this is the main bit that I need to fix. I can't really seem to figure it out right now. My brain's a bit fried, so just going to get the wheels on now and go get some fuel.
On the point of my brain being fried, after putting the first wheel on, I decided to spin the wheel with my fingers inside, which led to my little finger inevitably getting trapped. It's still swollen now. Second wheel was thankfully less eventful though.
But we do have one last issue, which is basically, well, you can see the marks on it. This is not cut correctly to the correct dimensions, so don't know how much you'll be able to see. It goes in past that first bit, and it starts going into that second bit, but then it hits the stopper, and that's stopping the bonnet going all the way down. So I'll just get that back open. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand this bit down, I think. Disconnect this temporarily, sand it down, and just see how we get on. But I might even actually just end up cutting a chunk out. probably that, to be honest. All right, this definitely doesn't look too nice, and I will re-primer and paint, obviously. But I think I've just had to make this crash bar work. It's so badly made, so I don't really have much choice. I probably will, moving forward, get one properly done. But look, it shuts. Oh, so now to get the vacuum cleaner out, give us a clean down, give that a little spray, probably tomorrow, to be honest. And then yeah, get that bonnet latch reattached. Didn't mean to rhyme. Until I'm going crazy making jokes like that. But yeah, job done.
Having topped up the car with 5 litres of fuel, I put the battery on charge as normal and called an end to the day.
Okay, well, back with another day. I've got a coolant. I've just put 5 litres, well, just over 5 litres of that Shell Power fuel into the car. So we've got, what, sort of 10 to 12 litres now we've added in there. That's plenty enough for now. So I'm just going to try and just see if I can just release the handbrake. There's still like an ABS failure that I need to have a look at. I've got a feeling that might clear as we go because we changed the battery, and that seems to be what brings that about. So maybe I need to take it for a bit of a drive and it'll clear. That's what a lot of people have said. They do seem to clear themselves. But yeah, just going to start running into it, and I'm just going to see if I can get this handbrake to release itself as well. Right, I'm going to demonstrate this ABS issue, but before I do it, the only thing I've so far done is I've just put air in the tyres, so I'm out of breath. See if it comes up, maybe ABS failure. Yeah, ABS system failure. Next up, plug the diagnostic in. Let's just see what codes that brings. Right, well, got ABS system on. Read fault codes. Recirculation pump, no symptom. Brake light switch, invalid signal, that's absent. Lamp communication, invalid signal. Well, let's try and clear these off. See what comes back. ABS system failure. There it is. Let's see if we can read it again. Enter. Recirculation pump, no symptoms. So, well, first port of call was the fuses. There's the ABS pump, which is this one up here, and then there's F23, which is this one here. They're both fine, so probably wiring related.
And well, this seemed to be a new fault, so I thought the best place to start was where I'd been doing the rewiring, and if you recall, I wasn't confident of it in the first instance.
Guess we got no choice but to check the wiring. I've come the wheel outside again. Well, sure enough, my wiring hasn't held. I have just pulled it out. It was just sitting in, but it was sitting in loosely, and I forgot to heat shrink it. Yeah, I've got a feeling this is going to be our issue right here. Well, here's my theory. You have a look at the wires to the ABS. It'll focus. You might have to take my word for this, but there's a red-black wire on the end there. And shock, it's one of the ones I've repaired. So I've got a feeling this isn't doing its job properly. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's loose. So take that off and that. So calling in my friend tomorrow morning, electrician Tom, to come and do this wiring for me properly. And hopefully that should fix that. And I've got a feeling it's that ABS that's causing our transmission issues or not letting us select gear. And I know that because I had a similar issue with the Aston Martin Vantage where a broken ABS wiring was stopping it from going into reverse, was stopping you using the paddle shift, etc. So I've got a feeling it's somehow also linked in this situation. Also, before I've just checked my diagnostics from Monday, and before I started this work, the fault code that we're now getting was not there. So I'm almost certain this is a self-inflicted issue. And once we get that properly wired, well, we'll have no ABS fault, and I'm pretty confident we'll be able to put this into gear.
At this stage, I actually tried starting to fill the car up with coolant, which I was planning on bleeding in the morning, but this identified a massive problem. Coolant seemed to be dripping out, and eventually as the radiator started to fill up, it soon started to empty itself again. And the cause seemed pretty catastrophic.
Well, devastated, to be honest. Oh, I didn't look at that side of the radiator. The radiator looked good on the front, but for some reason it's got a big chunk out of it on the back. So yeah, it's no good. It's leaking out. It's not repairable, I don't think. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be done ready for the wedding. And well, not so fast. Now, don't get me wrong, that was immensely disappointing. I thought I was on the final stages of just bleeding the coolant, and then we were ready for that MOT. We've now had my friend Tom come in, he's fixed that ABS issue. It's no longer displaying that code, he's rewired it for me. So it's literally the last thing is that leaking radiator. And I wasn't prepared to just throw in the towel just like that. It seemed ridiculous. After all this, building this whole front end, I was going to be defeated by a radiator that I could not replace, or at least replace in time. There aren't any second-hand. I looked everywhere, Gumtree, eBay, everything. I even spoke to some Ferrari contacts I have, also Ferrari specialist contacts. They have a California radiator, but not a California T. So I sort of thought, well, I need a new radiator, need to order it in from Ferrari. It's going to take about 2-3 weeks to arrive. I'm wondering if I can get this to Somerset and back with a bit of a, let's call it a Baldwin bodge. And well, for that, as you can see, I've got the Ferrari up above here. I managed to get it off the trailer. I put the trailer underneath and I used the post to lift it up because we couldn't get it into gear. And well, I've been having a bit of fun under here, and yeah, I'll run you through that now. As you can see, I've been using some Araldite to to some interesting effect. And if I get the light up here, as you can see, where the light is there, shining there, that's where I've laid down some Araldite, and I'm just trying to fill it in, and that is rock hard now. It's been set, see if I can get it at focus. It's been set in there for about 2 hours or so. And I'm going to put another layer on top of that now. And I know it is going to affect the cooling of the car a little bit, but as long as I don't get crazy with the car and I don't try and redline this thing, I think it should be okay. We shouldn't be overworking the engine too much. Like I say, I've just got to get it to Somerset and back. That's all I need to do. So plan is to plug it that side, and then this is where I know a lot of you aren't going to be happy. I'm going to plug this on the inside. So I'm thinking that weld that we've got in there, that Araldite, it's going to just close the gaps. There might still be some small holes, but that's fine. That's when we can then use this to filter through the inside and sort of gum it up a little bit. And don't get me wrong, this is only a temporary measure. I need to be really clear with that. This is just until the new rad arrives. So all I'm going to do, take this to Somerset and back, and then the car is just going to sit here until the new rad arrives, and we'll get that fit. So I don't think we're going to do too much. There's not going to be too much wrong with that, I think anyway. So I really want this to be ready for the wedding. It's a massive thing for me. I really want to be able to take it to my sister's wedding and be able to use it as the wedding car. So for me, I think it's worth the risk, but I know it's going to divide a nation or whatever. It's going to divide all of you. There's going to be a lot of you who hate the idea that I've done this, but yeah, I just wasn't prepared to give up. I didn't, you know, I want to use it. So that is dried, as I said. So I'm going to actually put one more layer on top of that. As you can see at the bottom, but there's still a bit of sort of damaged looking sort of gills or fins. I'm not sure what they call them. Down the bottom there, sort of where that light is in the center there. And that's what I'm going to try and just gum up a little bit more on this side. I'll then let that set for about 2 hours or so, let it harden up, and then we're going to lower the car back down. We're going to get the wheel back on. We're going to start running the car. We're going to, well, say running the car, we're going to have this also running through it, and hopefully we won't get the rain pour that we had yesterday, or the downpour. As you saw from that footage, it was spewing out. And in fact, let me show you this. And here it is. As you can see, we've had coolant pool out absolutely everywhere. So I don't think we can just use the rad seal. We've got to use the Araldite as well. And hopefully the Araldite will close the holes up enough to be small enough for the rad seal to be able to do the rest. So I guess one way to find out. And for me, worst case scenario, it doesn't plug the gap. We're still leaking, and then I resign and I don't take it to the wedding. But for me, it's worth a try because the radiator's toast anyway. I might as well just see if I can make it plug the hole just for a couple weeks until the next one arrives. So yeah, let's give it a go. Let's call it a Baldwin bodge. Let's go. So with the second layer of Araldite on, it was simply just a case of waiting for it to harden and set. All right, well, it's been an hour and a half now since we've done the welding underneath all this. It's called a welder. You know what I mean, epoxy sealer. So now we're getting on to this bit. Now I found the bleed nipple this time, so that's gonna help. And that was on the thermostat housing down there. So I've loosened that off. I've got the tube ready, gonna get that filled up. We're gonna put this rad seal in as well, which is down here. And yeah, hopefully this time we'll make a better effort of it. And we'll just have to keep an eye on whether we're leaking coolant. That's the big if here. I mean, I'll be able to bleed the system. It's just whether it'll let me, whether I can actually hold the coolant in. So wish me luck, guys. Come on, let's do it.
Time to test it out and hopefully it'll be okay. And sometimes it's the hope that kills you as I begin to hear a substantial dripping noise coming from the front left.
It's already leaking.
But this time it wasn't leaking from the patch we'd fixed. There was another leak on the plastic casing on the side. You can just about make out the pink bit where the light is shining. That's the crack. I then proceeded to close this up with some Aridite too.
You can see it looks horrendous, but it is covered it all. That's going to be the first layer. Going to let that dry. Going to see if it's waterproof at that point. Once it's dry, just going to run some water through it and just see if it holds. But yeah, I'm going to let that dry now. In the meantime, most of this rad weld's come straight back out. And I thought this was empty, but it's not. It's full of oil, so that's no good. So I'm going to go get some more rad weld.
Once the Aridite had set, I tried topping up with water this time. It might seem strange that I'm doing it up at this height, but if it started leaking again, I wanted to be able to get under the car to get a close look at where it's leaking from before it stopped. This time the leaking was less substantial and I hoped the rad weld would be able to step in at this point and close that hole up. So off we go, time for the bleed.
Alright, so that's set up on the bleed nipple. So that's just gonna let it heat up now. Got the temperature gauge there, so we can keep a close eye on that. And then hopefully in a bit, so no other warning lights, which is brilliant. That's the seatbelt. Yeah, which fair enough, it's not done. Yeah, no more warnings on the dash. So if we can just plug this problem, that's me overfilling the neck, don't worry about that. We can just start to see a bit less dripping down here, then I think we'll be good. There is so the bleed, it'll bleed off down there when I open the bleed nipple. But yeah, just gotta wait for it to heat up now, so catch back in a sec. And now we wait, come on, fingers crossed, please, come on. It's literally the last thing, all the warnings are gone. This car will pass its MOT like this. If we can just stop it leaking from the rads. Come on. I might have mentioned at this point, it's the first time I've ever bled a coolant system and it's on a Ferrari, but yeah. It's mad, this has been the most crazy week of my life. But yeah, gotta let it cool up, heat up. See you in a sec.
And as the car slowly heated up, I started occasionally rev the engine in a bid to push the air around the system and up to the coolant overflow tank. And with all these bubbles, it seemed to be doing the trick. I was also loosening off the bleed nut every so often and retightening it, but in truth, I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. I was in such a rush to get the car done, I read a few articles and then just went for it.
Okay, we're topped up again. Check the engine temperature. First and foremost. Yeah, it's staying pretty consistent now and it's boiling in here. So just gonna rev it. Super hot in there. How are we looking here? Yeah, it's bubbling away, that's good. Now I'm just going to loosen this off. There we go. Get the floor out. Anyway, I'm sweating like a madman running around doing this, but yeah, I'm just going to keep doing this process. I'll keep running it through for as long as I can. Make sure I get as much of the air bubbles out as possible, but we're looking good. How are we looking down here though? Ah, well. Have a look at that, we've got nothing dripping now. Absolutely nothing. That is a result. A bit less smoke now as well. So yeah, we'll tip back in a sec. Alrighty, we'll sit wrap, boiling in here. It's up to 90 degrees, which is what it's supposed to stay at. I think, from what I've read online. We'll keep an eye on it anyway. But it's looking alright so far. It's about the same on the other one as well, on the oil. I'm looking at the engine temperature, of course. It is boiling hot in here though, so I'm quietly confident. Right, so sit rep. Both pipes are scorching hot. Yikes, really hot. No more leaking. Well, we're looking all right down here as well. Doesn't seem to be too much coming up. The odd bit, which is fine. It's circulating though, I'm pretty sure about that. No temperature warnings, but it is going up to 95, which is beginning to concern me. So yeah, I don't know. Alrighty, well I just saw the needle go down a tad. So hopefully, yeah, and another. Oh guys, this could be good news. Down to 90. Yes, sorry, it's not focused. Down to 90 again.
And it continued to stay at 90 for the next 5 minutes.
Well, I'm happy with that. Jesus. This has been the most nuts week of my life. The amount of things I had to learn how to do just this week. That's the first time I've led a system. That's why I was panicking, constantly checking everything. But yeah, we have no leak. Give me a minute.
Once I'd had a breather, I put the wheels on and thought it'd be a good idea to take it out for a quick test drive around the industrial estate.
No, select gear, come on. Try and give me this. Why is it not selecting gear? This is so typical now. Now it's just not selecting gear. I've got some evening commitments. I've got to be back in London for 8:30, so I've got to go. But yeah, that's the only thing we've got to figure out for tomorrow. And then we got basically just to put everything together. I need to figure out that bonnet latch, get that all sorted, lined up again, and then put the arch liner trays on. That's pretty much it. And then, the under trays as well. So I'm really running it down to the wire, but hopefully done soon, done tomorrow morning. I'm gonna get in really early, give myself a few hours to get this done. Yeah. This car just would have to throw up one final issue for me, wouldn't it? Hope you're enjoying this because this is stressful for me. I can feel like my heart hurting. It's like, squeezing. But anyway, see you in the morning. Okay, well, new day here. I've been here about half an hour or so, taking the charger off. I've got this latched in just so it thinks the bonnet is closed. For now, it's a bit fiddly, so before I sort of mess around more with that and get that properly lined up, I just want to make sure that we can get it into gear or not. And yeah, on that note, I thought I'd do the locking process. I put the keys on the other end of the warehouse. I've had the car locked. So now we can unlock it and just see if that helps. But I've got a feeling, or what I'm hoping, we've got a bad relay or a bad fuse for the F1 pump. Because in theory, when you open the door, you should hear it. And you don't, it's just silent. And the F1 pump is the transmission. And that is what will let us go into gear or not. But yeah, so starts up, no problem. We got the parking brake symbol, so that's fine. Does still think the bonnet's open, that's a bit strange. But yeah, it's if I try and put it in gear, to press brake pedal and press launch to enable gears. So brake pedal's in, I hit launch and it recognises it, but yeah, it just doesn't want to go into gear. And if I were to show you, for instance, if I press auto, it is cycling on and off. So it's not like this is broken, like I can't even select reverse. It won't let me do that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure these paddles are fine and this is fine. We just can't hear that F1 pump going, so I'm pretty sure that's the fault. And looking online, I believe the fuse box is down here, so going to take a look at that now. All right, I've taken this relay out, I've swapped it with another one. So that one at the top there, which is on its own, I've swapped around. I put that from 223 into 225. So yeah, we'll see if it's just a bad relay. The fuses were fine. Please. No, it's still not doing it. Well, that seems to be as much as I can diagnose or fix today, I was hoping either a bad relay or a bad fuse, just not letting the F1 system sort of prime up. But yeah, as it's not doing that, I can't see how we're going to get this into gear now. I'm certain it's not an issue with the paddle shift because the reverse isn't going into gear either, but we can toggle the auto switches, so it's getting power, it's just not actually letting it move into gear, which I think has to be to do with the F1 pump system, because, well, it's a hydraulic system and it won't change gear without that working, I think. Well, I know it won't, so definitely not something I can fix today if it's not a relay or a fuse. So, sadly, Ferrari will not make it to the wedding, but I do hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to be taking my Range Rover instead. So yeah, a bit of a shame, but we really gave it everything. Other than that one issue, the car is done, as you can see. It's ready to go near enough. We've got parking sensors I need to order, and obviously a new radiator that I need to fit in due course. But other than that, car's ready. A few like loose screws, I think, in the top of this hood. There's a couple of like grommets, I'm not sure what they're called, grommets that I need to buy as well just to put in there because I've lost a couple. But other than that, I think we've done a pretty good job. Remember, this is only my second Category S, and well, it's looking a lot better than the Aston did, that's for sure. The quality of the finish is a lot better, so I'm actually pretty happy with my personal development. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this series, and I hope you've enjoyed what I'm sure is going to be a ridiculously long video. But yeah, I guess I'm going to have to go cancel my MOT slot and head over to the wedding. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Obviously hit that like button down below if you've enjoyed this. We'll figure out what the issue is. Let me know what you think it is down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers now, bye bye.